someone was here an hour ago and they bought the place for $500,000 in cash. Okay, so I'm bringing you guys up here a couple blocks from where the rental we live in is at because I wanted to show you something that to me just seems completely crazy, but I guess it's just commonplace nowadays. So basically around here, as soon as the weather turns nice, a lot of these garage sales, estate sales, yard sales start popping up. And what happened was we were driving to Safeway one morning to get more milk for my kid, and we saw this yard sale sign popped up, so we took a turn. So this place right here is basically the definition of an old house around here where I live. This was built about 100 years ago, give or take, when this was actually quite literally a different place to live. I talked to the guy who was hosting the sale, and it was an estate sale because someone passed away. And they told me that this house was built in the mid-20s, and when I walked inside, the ceilings were only about 6 feet high, so my head was scraping on the top. And it was really, really tiny, compact house, probably not more than 1,000 square feet, even though this whole front area is an add-on and there's an add-on in the back. Anyway, as I got talking to this guy, he gave me the story, which pretty much explained that this house, like many of the other ones in this community used to be, are kind of the historic homes for around here. All the people who lived here back in the day, about 100 years ago, worked at the mill, which was the main industry here in town. So they cut down the pine trees, brought them in to the middle of town where the mill was, sawed them up, all different sizes and lengths of boards. And the guys who worked there were able to take home scraps. And they bought these little plots of land in here for, probably back in those days, $50, $100, something like that. And they were able to take the wood home, which were pretty much just whatever scraps they could get, piece it together to actually build their own house. And because of this, it makes the structure, and it was wired with electrical that's probably unpermitted. The structure itself is probably unpermitted. The plumbing was probably done by non-professional. And so when it comes time to sell a house like this, like when someone passes away in this scenario, it turns into something where you're not going to be selling it to the average buyer, because I don't believe any bank is going to be able to loan on a place like this. Now, in an ideal world, this would be the perfect kind of house as a starter home for a young family like mine, let's say. But fortunately, what's happening, the inflation of these housing prices is it's turned a place like that into being worth so much that no one will be able to buy it with cash, or no regular person. I mean, people out of California, yeah. People like me, I'd never have enough cash. So what happens is it gets sold to investors most of the time who have it pencil out so that even if they pay $500,000, they make money. So anyway, at the garage sale, I inquire about all the leftover stuff, because the guy was just dumping stuff, giving stuff away for free. He sold all these hand tools to a guy for $1. And I thought, well, it looks like they're getting serious about getting rid of all this. So I asked what was going to happen to all of it when the sale was done. And he thought I meant what was going to happen to the house. So he told me, hey, sorry, you missed out. Someone was here an hour ago and they bought the place for $500,000 in cash. Here's another one that would be perfect. This one actually looks like it's new enough and good enough shape that probably could be financed. And I love the location, the yard. Obviously, I'm a landscaper, so I could do a lot of the work. But it's a nice little home, probably 1 or 2 bedrooms. Perfect for a little family. Well, anyway, I guess that's just the world we live in now, where, you throw a garage sale and you got little knickknacks and other little pieces of bullshit for 50 cents and $1, and people walk up and they buy the whole house for $500,000 in cash. That's the reality of the world we live in right now, where the house doesn't even make it to the market, on the market, and it's already sold. And that's what, we as regular working class people are up against. It seems like, the investor money, there's no end to it. Even, we've had 6 months, a year of this higher interest rate environment and less money supply, but it doesn't matter. The money, there's just too much out there. This regular people just can't compete with it. So it just seems to be what's happening. But I will say, for those of you who are considering selling, try for sale by owner first, because it seems like a lot of people are just going to walk up and make you an offer in cash. The guy at this property who was going to list, he was actually had an agent in mind. He had already talked to him. They were going to come take photos the day after the sale, and he was going to list it at a similar price point, about $500,000. So some of you will say, maybe it could have been bid up, but honestly, I think that $500,000 is what they wanted, and that's what they were going to post and sell it for. Now they don't have to pay all the fees that would be associated with using a realtor. So I'd say a lot of these houses sell themselves, so give it a try. Can't really hurt anything. You might lose a week or 2 or a month if you want to go that direction, but ultimately I'd say, You know, save yourself the 25 to 50 grand and see if you can sell it by yourself.